Our first guest was Michael Winkelmann, the artist Beeple. But from what I understand, he may have gotten his introduction to the NFT scene from you. Is that true? We have an email Mike sent you in October saying, Anthony, hey man, just very recently discovered the NFT scene and remembered our chat way back when. Definitely should have listened to and stuck with this stuff, and potential seems quite obvious to me now. Maybe you should get a commission, Anthony, or what did you tell Beeple way back when?
No, well, first, there's nothing that I did actually help them along the way to what we've done here. Back in 2017, as I was looking for a visual artist to do some background scenes for the closing party of Consensus that we were hosting on the boat cruise in New York City, I stumbled upon Beeple and I reached out to him to maybe do some work for me for that. And along the way, had talked to him about Ethereum and NFTs and the idea about being able to take digital art, something what he was doing, and be able to prove ownership of his works, and maybe there's an opportunity there. It was maybe something that he had known about crypto, but I think the whole NFT scene didn't really went over his head a bit back then. And then I think when he got into it in 2020, that's when he reached back out and, kind of getting his mind blown with the possibilities. And then we see what he's done now, and it's just good on him for taking what he's done there and just blowing it up into what he's been able to achieve today.
So it sounds like we should CoinDesk should ask for a bit of a commission then if it involved Consensus.
There's that tie-in right there with all three
synergies.
of us. There.
Comes full
exactly.
circle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, in the meantime, he sold it for about let's say 41,000 ETH or so. Do you like NFTs?
Personally, I don't find them really cool or sexy, and that's just because it's been a number of years that I've had ideas for NFTs, and physical items is more interesting for me to match them with digital items. Just the digital side of it, to be able to own something digital that I can see. For me, I'm not a collector of something like that because I can just hang it on my wall and have a copy of it. But it's for people that really are into collectibles. And I think the more interesting thing for me is how we can take the digital world and match it with the physical world. So having something physical and then be able to prove ownership of that physical thing with also a token that you can match together and then see the history of it. That's where there's interest to me. And I was an early investor in a product in VeChain, and VeChain has been working on these things for quite a while with partnerships with Louis Vuitton and being able to take handbags and embed a chip in them where you could tap it with an application that proves who owns that device and prove that the actual purse or thing is legitimate and it's not a knockoff. So I find that much more interesting, but this technology as a whole is going to empower artists like Beeple or anybody now that hadn't in the past been able to take their work that's digital and be able to decide or to be able to monetize of it. So it's opening the doors to so many different possibilities for digital ownership. And it's not just of art, it's going to be of music, it's going to be of many different things, anything digital. So it's really, people are understanding that they now have the ability to do something they couldn't do before because everything digital could always be copied. And we saw what it did for music. We saw what it did to democratize information on the internet, which is fantastic. But then Bitcoin comes along, and for the first time ever, you could have something digital that can't be duplicated. And that's really the breakthrough that Bitcoin brought to the world is for properties of money. You don't want it to be able to be duplicated, and it's losing the scarcity of things. You can copy it. So starting to see now it's kind of a match between something like Bitcoin and something visual, because the difference here is that it's not the same as Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you can have it, you prove ownership of. No one can have that thing, but something visual is different. So it's going to require a different way of looking at it, because even though I have ownership of something digital like that Beeple thing, someone has it, it's still a visual item that you can still see and anybody can see it and you can take a picture of it. So it has certain properties, but it's kind of going to have to figure out its niche and value in the market. And right now it's just really exciting, I think, for a lot of people. But for me, it kind of, I just don't have I don't find it cool and sexy really. It's because everybody else is getting into it and doing it. So it's interesting, and it's going to really create a lot of value and empower artists and empower creators with digital. And that's kind of the amazing breakthrough that's happening now.
So you were obviously in Ethereum since literally the beginning, and it's come quite a long way. Is the current state of Ethereum, is it basically living up to what your vision was, or are there aspects of it that you find disappointing?
I think whatever it's done is beyond the wildest imaginations that I think we had when we were starting it out. And could it be better? Could it be worse? Both sides. There's no right or wrong. There's no it's good, it's bad. It's where it is right now. There's a lot of competition that's come in. It's done phenomenal things, and I couldn't be more happy and proud to be part of what it is, along with the other thousands of people that have got it to where it is today. So it is where it is, and I wouldn't want anything changed to where it is. It's going to learn from things, and hopefully it's going to see a lot more competition, which works it towards being better and improving, and that's what innovation is, and that's how things change. So I'm extremely proud and happy of where the project is. Things could have been different, but that's okay. It is where it is, and it's where it should be, I think, right now.
So speaking of improvement, what do you think? What specific improvements do you think you'll need to have next?
It has a lot of developer mindshare. Ethereum has, but then you have new projects coming out like Polkadot that are actually being the same type of thing, where they're really appealing to the developer network. With more competition that comes in, you have to kind of find a way that you're going to continue to stay above the crowd, and I think it's doing that. But I think some of the greatest concerns is the fees. Scalability. When you are the biggest platform out there and you've got scalability always as an issue, that's going to be something on the forefront. And there's just so many competitors and so many other systems that are newer. The older you are, the harder it is for you to change, and the harder it is for you to keep up with what's coming. But you also have a lot of first mover advantage with things. So it's going to keep the struggle up. I think that it still has a really big mind share, and I don't think that's going anywhere. But it's going to have to continue to do things that are keeping up with the competition, and we'll see what it does.
Anthony, some of the co-founders of Ethereum have gone on to create other projects, so-called Ethereum killers. I wonder what your thoughts on those. Do you think that they're better, or do you have a favorite one?
Well, I think there's a lot of projects that have been called Ethereum killers, and they could actually prove to do that. But right now, I don't think there's an Ethereum killer out there. I am, excited with projects that Charles Hoskinson is doing with Cardano and what Gavin Wood is doing with Polkadot, and I have a lot of respect for both of those people. And super smart, super intelligent, learned a lot with Ethereum, and now they're on a mission to make their projects excel and succeed, and probably have something on their shoulders in order to kind of get to where Ethereum is. But there's a number of projects. I don't know what's going to win out. Nobody does right now, and I think there could be multiple projects that do. But I think it's the projects that work together and try to collaborate with others and provide value and complement projects that are going to be the ones that are going to really provide value for many different systems. So with Polkadot, you've got value being created to Ethereum. So the more you can do with your project to create value for others and bring others along and create winning situations for all the projects, I think those are going to be the projects that are going to bring others along and bring competitors along, and showcase that the more you support something that you're doing that's helping others, the more that you're going to do well, the more everybody's going to do well.